What it do? What up? What up? What up, man? It has been a minute. I'm Christopher Markland, and y'all miss me? Cause I damn sure miss y'all. It's been a long time since I've done one of these episodes of the CM show, and had a few things I had to take care of. Had some personal stuff that I had to deal with, but your boy's back in the chair, back in the saddle, and tonight we are going to be talking about background checks. That's right, background checks. Now, as you know, with everything that we do, we talk about it's within the realm of relationships, love, all of that good stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Now, before we get into it, you're probably asking, who the hell am I? I am Christopher Markland. I'm an author, agent, lover of love. I'm a friend till the end. I'm all of that good stuff. But tonight, I am going to be your host for the CM show as we talk about background checks. Let's just jump right into it. Background checks. You know that when you get into a relationship, right? A lot of times we get into them for the wrong reasons. Now, by when I say the wrong reasons, meaning, yeah, we want to be with somebody, we want to find the right person, we want that magical Disney moment where it's like, oh, you done found your Prince Charming and he done found his princess and they ride off into the sunset together. But this is real world, this is real life. And when it comes to relationships, when it comes to dating, when it comes to all of that good stuff, you know, it's where we have to really and truly stop, slow down, all of the emotions that come, you know how it is when you start to feel good, they touch you in the right places, and you know, every time you think about them, you get the butterflies in your stomach, and you know what I'm saying, your blood starts rushing to other places and it starts to feel good. However, what we have to do is stop and say, okay, things are feeling good right now. We're progressing. I like you. You like me. You know, we done checked the box. We love, you know, and it's almost, it's even to the point to where we actually love each other now. But before you do all that, then you have to say, okay, who is the person that I'm in love with? Who is the person that I'm in infatuation with, that I'm in like with, that I'm all of these things with? Who is that person? And that is what you've got to ask yourself when it comes time for you to be like, you know what? This is the person I want to hang with, but at the same time, you know, this is the person I want to be with, but who is this person? In order to get the answer to that question, you've got to do background checks. You've got to start doing the investigation. Now, I'm not saying you go and do an FBI background search where you submit DNA samples and all that other bullshit. Now, that's a bit much. I'm not saying we're going to do all that. What I am... Ooh. Slam that shit down. Oh, you know what? Before I get into it too, let me make sure that y'all understand exactly what kind of show this is, right? This is an adult show, meaning we're going to be talking about some adult topics, and we are going to be doing some adult stuff. All right? So if anything that I say may hurt, you know, your sensitive ears, are like, oh my Lord, oh Lordy, then y'all, this ain't the show for you. Because like I said, we're going to be talking about adult stuff today. We are going to be talking about some adult stuff. And when I say we, I do mean we, because what we're going to be doing as well is I'm going to be dropping a link to Zoom, and you're going to be able to hit the Zoom link. I think it's 2022. If you don't know how to use Zoom by now, whew, you're going to be in a world of hurt moving forward. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear about what you have done with the background checks that you have done and the stuff that you found out that you realize, you know what, this is a deal breaker for me. I thought that we were on the path for something special, but as I started looking at the red flags, as I started doing some digging into who you are, I realized that, you know what, this ain't what you want. So what are some of the things that you need to look for, or I believe you need to look at when it comes to doing the background checks for the person that you're with? Let's start with family interactions, right? Who is their family? Now, we all know that the mothers are the core of families. So you have to stop and say, how does that person interact with their mother? Now, if you know, is that dude a mama's boy, meaning that he can't take a piss unless he gets his mama's permission? Where everything he does, you know, he has to go to mama. And even though you and him are in a relationship, it's not really you and him, it's you, him, and her. She's a part of y'all's relationship because he doesn't set the boundaries. That's the kind of background you have to look at. But then you also have to say, where's dad? Is he around? is his mother, a single mom? Or if the dad is in the picture, is the dad a strong father? Is he a father that's giving good advice both in relationships and just advice as far as man to man, daughter to father, that kind of thing. All right. Now, something else you got to look at when speaking on families is the family history. All right. Now, where are they from? Me, I'm from Jamaica. Y'all know it's the greatest country ever. However, if you are from, in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine. She's from a small town. And it's not, well, it's a small to mid-sized town, right? And she, in the midst of our conversation, she told me, yo, Chris, I will never, ever, ever date anybody who is from that particular city. And the reason why is everybody there's damn related. So she knows that if he says that he's from this particular city, it's a wrap. No matter how you feel about, how she felt about him, how titillating she may get, whatever, if he's from that part of town, instantly the block comes up, no thanks, I'm out. All right? And also the family history as well. You have to know as far as their medical history. Because you know that if the father, for instance, has cancer, the grandfather has cancer, then 9 times out of 10, the son probably is at a high risk for that as well. So those are things that you have got to know. And also genetics. Y'all, you need to know that family history. You need to do the background check in order to find that family history. Now, speaking of family, that's the family they came from. But let's talk about the family that they may have made, meaning they are a baby daddy or a baby mama. You need to find out what kind of parent are they. Now, I was talking to yet another friend, and she was telling me about, her baby daddy. They were in a relationship together. Things were going smooth. He was a great partner to her and an excellent father to their child. Now, things happened, life happened, the relationship between them did not work out, and they ended up going their separate ways. So now what happened was that great father ended up being a piece of shit dad, because basically he was only that good father as long as he was in relationship with the mother, with her. She said that once they broke up, he stopped coming around to see their son. He stopped coming around, and he stopped paying child support. He just stopped being that father. So if that's the kind of person that you're with, if you're a woman and you're dating a guy, or y'all are kicking it, and then you start saying, so yeah, when's the last time you talked to your son? When's the last time you talked to your daughter? I ain't worried about that because the baby mommy ain't shit. Just like, yo, that's a red flag. Because if that's how they're going to treat the child that they already have, and their flesh and blood, how in the hell do you think they're going to treat you? That's an indication. That's the kind of background check that you need to do to see what kind of parent they are. Because if they're treating what they did in the past just like any other job, is going to be an indicator as far as how they're going to be moving in the present, and more importantly, how they're moving in the future. Think about it. The reason why, with these background checks, that they're so important. Any job that you go to, you're going to have a background check. Now, how intensive that check is going to be, it all depends on the job. But at a very minimum, you fill out the application and they look and say, okay, this is your last employer. Hey, last employer, how was Joe Blow? What kind of employee was he? Okay, cool, click. At least now they've done a background check on you. That's for your job. That's for your employment. You can quit that anytime. But when it comes to your relationships, you have got to do those same kind of checks as well. All right. And if they are a step parent, you want to see what kind of step parent they are based on past relationships. Again, going back to, the background checks on what kind of parent they are, those are the things that you need to do. Now, I just referenced jobs. You got to speak. 3 things that I always say are the main key to any relationship. You got to have these 3 things. You have got to have these 3 things, no matter what it is. You have got to have it. Okay. And those 3 things are sex, communication, finances. In fact, give me a second. I'm gonna bring it up because I got that fancy technology and shit. If I can find it. But anyway, you got to have sex, communication, finances. You must have those 3 things if you want to have a successful relationship. You'd think I'd have had it up and ready, but hey, shit happens. We're gonna be all right tonight. Sex, communication, finances. Communication is a given. If you can't communicate with your significant other, you're gonna have problems. And also on speaking of communication, if when you talk to that person and you have a conversation, be it in person or be it over the phone, if you get off of that, if you get through with that conversation and you are exhausted, if you are tired, if you are depleted, that's a problem. That's a fucking problem that you need to address. If you can't talk to that person and when you get off, you feel invigorated, you feel energized, you feel positive, that's a problem. Because if you don't have sex, if you don't have communication, it's going to be hard. Good communication, it's going to be hard to have sex. But right now, we're going to focus on the finances, meaning how do they make their money? What is their work history like? You want to ask them, yo, what's your career? And a lot of people confuse their damn job with a career. What you do, you go clock into work is not the same as your damn career. There's a huge difference. And if they do have a job, how long do they normally stay on their job? Are they a job hopper? If you're in the midst of a conversation and as you're asking these questions, so how long have you worked at Acme Enterprises? Yeah, I was only there for 3 months. 3 months. All right, what'd you do before that? I was at Back 'em Up Enterprises. Oh shit, how long were you there? About 5 months. Oh damn, what were you doing before that? I was like, and if it goes on and every so often they're changing jobs, that's a problem. Because if they are not consistent in their employment, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be consistent in the relationship. If you got to put in work in the relationship, it's hard for a person who can't even put in work at work. That's the kind of thing that you have to start asking the person. Because I promise you, if the finances struggle, then the communication is going to struggle, because ain't nobody want to be coming home from work and that person's laid up on the damn couch. You done bust your ass all day. You bringing home the bacon, and this lazy motherfucker sitting on the couch. That's a problem. That is a huge problem. It may be cute at first because, like I said, you got the happy, giddy feelings on the inside. However, over time, you're gonna start to resent that person, because you're like, hey, you are a functional adult. If I can get up and go and take care of business, why can't you? But if you don't ask those questions, if you don't do that background check early, then you're going to find yourself in that situation and you're going to be hurt and you're going to be resentful. A couple other things that, you can check on is their medical history. Now, that kind of touches, on the family history, because, some things may be, hereditary, whatever the case may be. But you at least want to ask those questions. Sometimes we tend to stray away from things like that because we feel it's too personal. But what is more personal than a relationship with that person? And again, that goes back to communication. If you can't ask them the honest questions about their health, or just simple things. How often do you work out? Do you at least walk? What kind of exercise or something like that do you do? What kind of, this may be a bit personal, but you got to ask, what kind of medication are you on? What kind of psychotropic drugs, or, as far as what kind of medication are you on, be it for their body, for their mind, whatever the case may be, you need to ask those questions. Substance abuse. This is a big one, y'all. And it could be anything from weed. It could be anything from alcohol. It could be drugs, whatever the case may be. You want to ask those questions. There are a lot of functioning addicts out there. But again, you at least want to have the question. So if that addict does lie to you and say, yeah, I'm good, if you find out later on, then you know that they deceived you. But if you didn't ask the questions up front and then you find out later on, it is what it is. At that point, it's a different conversation, because now you're learning the information new. Whereas if you ask the questions up front, if you did that background check, hey, are you addicted to this? Hey, do you have a problem with this substance? Hey, do you have a problem with alcohol? If you don't ask those questions, that's going to be a problem later on if that is the case. Let's talk about their criminal background. That's something else as well. Y'all, there's a lot of people that have had trouble with the law. They've had run-ins with the law. It happens. It's unfortunate, but it does happen, right? Your past is your past. I get it. Hell, trust and believe. I completely understand about your past and when it comes to running afoul of the law. That's one thing. But if you ask the question and you learn about that and you still see that person still hanging with the same crowd, in other words, what they did at one part of their life is not necessarily this, what they're doing now, that's a problem. All right. So if you know that if you know that sorry y'all, having a little technical problems over here. Excuse me, my bad. It happens. So if you know that person, if you don't at least ask them about their criminal background, then later on when you find out certain things or you realize that, oh, wait a minute, you can't go and get this particular job, or we can't travel into Canada, or we can't do certain things. And the reason I say Canada is because there are certain countries where even though you have a passport, they will not allow you in if your criminal background, says certain things, right? Now, let's talk about their financial background, because again, sex, communication, finances, all of those things are important, okay? But the money talks, y'all. I don't give a damn what people say. I love you if you broke. Fuck all that. Ain't nobody want to struggle. Life is hard enough as is. Life is hard enough as is. And if you see that this person is not, responsible, meaning they don't pay their damn bills on time, so now their credit score is like in the negatives, and now y'all are struggling. No, that's a problem. That is a freaking problem. All their credit cards are maxed out. That's a problem. If you ask those questions, even if you decide to stay with that person, if you think love conquers all, at least you'll be going into the situation with your eyes wide open, as opposed to your eyes shut and now you're blindsided later on. Those are the questions that you have to ask. And here's another one, y'all. You got to get their sexual background. You got to get that body count, kind of, sort of. Yeah, essentially really don't matter. I personally like a little bit of training, somebody knows what they do. But anyway, at least ask the question. If that's something that's important to you, you got to ask the question. You have got to ask the question. Now, speaking of questions, it's all of these things, and I'm going to drop the link to the Zoom call in just a second. To the Zoom link. I really want y'all to jump in because I want to hear what y'all have to say. One of the things that just dropped the link, so if you want to join it, click that, jump on in. It's one of those things that it depends on what you're dating for. If you're dating with intention, then you're going to want to, meaning the intention of ultimately getting married to that person, then all of these things and a hell of a lot more are relevant. But if you're just dating for penetration, meaning you trying to get it in or you trying to get it into you, whatever the case may be, then honestly, the only background check that you really need is their sexual background and their medical history, and maybe substance abuse. Outside of all the family, if you ain't trying to get to know them like that, then at the end of the day, it really don't matter. So, with that being said and done, I'm gonna jump on the Zoom. Join the conversation by clicking that link that I just posted in the chat, both on Facebook and on YouTube, whichever one. And please make sure you have your audio connected. If you do not want your video to be shown, your video needs to be connected for me. I want to be able to see you. However, when it's broadcast live, I'm gonna make sure that it's blocked out. So I already have a couple people in the queue, I believe it is, or at least okay. Looks like that person fell out. Anyway, I just dropped the link. If you want to join the conversation, what the hell just happened? Anyway, if you want to join the conversation, click the link below, either in Facebook or on YouTube. Oh, looks like it is just lagging like hell over there on Facebook. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, while I'm waiting for a couple people, it looks like a few people jumped in. I didn't even realize it's lagging like that. This is, oh well, we'll be all right. One of the things, one of the reasons why I even started doing this particular topic is y'all know that I do the review of the TV show Ready to Love, right? And I just did my review for episode 7. And on that particular show, y'all know I'm a big fan of the show. A bunch of y'all that follow my YouTube channel know that, you know, I do my reviews and we talk about the situations that are on the show. One of the things that happened on the show was there was a situation where one of the ladies felt that one of the men overstepped the boundaries and got a little too physical with him. My thing with that show is, even though they are dating, even though they are, you know, seeking love and all that other good stuff, the one thing that they don't know, and I would assume the show, maybe I hope, does some background checks, but it's one of those things where you don't know who the hell these people are. So I'm like, anybody can be on there, but when you have control, when you know exactly what it is that, you know, you want, then when you find someone that fits that bill, don't just get infatuated with the physical. If you are really intentional about finding love, about finding that good, solid, strong relationship, then you need to ask those tough questions. You need to know exactly who that person is in order to really start to develop something serious with them. You know what I find funny? Y'all know I'm live. Why would you text me your comments instead of jumping on this and saying them to me in person? I don't understand it. What is y'all doing? If you got something to say, jump on here and talk to me. I want to hear this. Don't text it to me. Anyway, I love my people. I swear I do. So let's talk about it. For me, one of the things that has happened, you know, just I'll give you a little personal insight, you know, as far as some of the situations why relationships that I've had in the past were not as successful as they could be. The reason for that, honestly, was I didn't check their family history, or more specifically, I didn't check the family interaction. We met, we worked together. Actually, you know, things progressed pretty smooth. I really fell for her. But what I didn't do was meet her mother. And if I had met her mother, I would have seen a lot of questions would have been answered, because basically, and ladies, this is how most men think. Your mother is a reflection of you. So ultimately, when we meet your mother, what we're looking at is the older version of you. So if you may be different than your mother, you may look physically different, but us dudes, when we see your mother, we're basically seeing you. So that to me was a huge wake-up call when I realized, like, oh, shit, wait a minute. And it wasn't until after we got together that I realized that, this, what the hell just happened here? You know, that this right here is my future. And I realized that. And I'm like, damn. Anyway, let me say what's up to the people in the chat room. Carrie, what's happening? Thanks for joining. It's been a minute, right? Hey, Michelle. Thank you for joining in. Oh, somebody just said that the Zoom isn't working. That's interesting. LSM Enterprises, thank you. Thank you. It is a great and informative show. I do appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am. Yo, anyway, going back to what I was saying, the family interaction thing, right? That is something that I realized early on, that if you don't know where that person comes from, in other words, their family background, that's going to be problematic. You're going to have to meet that person in order to say, okay, not just meet the person. You have to ask those questions about that person's background when it comes to their family, when it comes to their family history, their family interaction specifically. You know, that person's mother speaks a lot about who that woman ultimately will become. And those are the things that you have got to do if you want to, be a part of that. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, y'all, my computer's lagging a little bit, so hold on. All right. Also, if you haven't hit the like button, can you go over there and do that, please? I need for y'all to help me tickle that algorithm if you don't mind. I need that support, please and thank you. Let's see what we got going on over here in Facebook. All right, looks like y'all. If it's lagging over there, y'all let me know. I've had two people text me so far said that there's a little bit of a lag. Don't know what I can do about that. Hey, if y'all can hear me, let me know. If not, we're gonna keep pushing through it anyway. All right. Got it. Okay. Now, the financial aspect as well. Someone just texted me that they didn't want to jump on, but we're going to talk about it anyway. The question that they sent via text is, what if they're not making enough money? And basically what they were asking is, let's say they've been on a job for 2 years, but they weren't trying to go and earn more money. They were comfortable where they were. If they've been on the job that long, then that shows some semblance of stability. The problem now is pretty much in your court, because now the conversation is really and truly, if that person isn't quote unquote ambitious enough for you, then you may need to find someone that meets your ambition. But at least you asked. At least you looked at their background and said, okay, you've been working at this company. It's, every day you go in, you do what you got to do, you earn your paycheck, but I think that you could be doing better. That's a different conversation, but at least you know that this person gets up, goes to work every day. They've been at this job, working in this particular career field, in this industry, whatever the case may be. They've been doing it for X amount of time. That, at least you're able to address that. Now, the other stuff, then that's a different conversation at that point. Cool. Thank you. I didn't know what the hell was going on with that. One person said they couldn't hear me. Another one said, okay. All right. I don't know. But it's one of those things where you have the conversation. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about what kind of parent they are. This is something because usually, as you get older, pretty much everyone you meet, once you get to a certain point, they're going to have at least one child. Now, from a previous relationship. Maybe they're a widower, maybe the relationship just didn't work out. So, let me dig into that point just a little bit. We hear all of this nonsense about baby mama drama and baby daddy and all this other nonsense. However, what I don't understand, and, get a little controversial here, but let's do it, is if that baby mama ain't shit, why you go back and have another child with him? If that baby daddy ain't shit, why are you going to go back and have another child with him? If you know that person isn't taking care of their kids and you ask the questions, why would you then turn around and have a child with this dude that ain't paying child support for his first kid? What makes you special? But if you don't know how that person interacts with the kids he has now, then that's a problem on you, not necessarily on the dude. If you know that this woman has multiple kids, has kids from multiple men, that's a problem with you if you don't want that type of situation. Ain't no twat in the world worth all that. If you know that that's not the kind of situation that you want, why would you go down that path? A lot of people, they don't find out what kind of parent that person is. They don't find out how that person handles their kids. They don't find out how that person co-parents. They don't do any of those things. They just walk into the situation blind, and as such, they end up having problems. Why? Because they did not ask the questions and observe and want to meet the baby mama, want to meet the baby daddy, want to, whatever, and find out more information to see what kind of person they are. They don't do that kind of work, and you have got to do that when it comes to, if you want to develop a relationship with that person. What are a couple other things that I touched on earlier? Their financial background, their credit score. If you know that you're dating with intention, and one of the things that you personally want to be as a homeowner, or you may want to have rental property, or you just want to do, you might want, whatever the case may be. If you don't find out what that person's financial training may be, then you're going to have issues. You're going to have issues because you are, again, walking into this situation blind. And again, like I've said it multiple times, y'all, I cannot say it enough. I cannot say it enough. Sex, communication, finances are key to a solid, healthy relationship. Those are key to a solid relationship, y'all. Finances, communication, sex. Communication, sex, it doesn't matter. Whichever one you feel is most important to you, that is the one that you have got to, make sure that you have. To me, communication is key. I've got to be able to talk to you. I have got to be able to have conversations with you. I've got to be able to have those tough conversations about the finances, about sex, or hell, maybe the lack thereof. The lack of finances or the lack of sex, whatever the case may be, we've got to at least be able to talk about it. And if I can't, at a minimum, at least talk about it, get an understanding, and more importantly, feel heard, then for me, that's just something I've always been that way. As I've gotten older, I've really come to realize that just how important those things are. But when I was younger, I knew that it was important. And if I couldn't talk to you, and if we couldn't have a good conversation where, like I said, at the end of the day, I felt refreshed with after the conversation, after talking with you, that's a problem. That is a problem. Y'all, I am not sure why this Zoom is not working properly, but I'm going to try something else. Love this. Let's see. All right, we're going to try this StreamYard one. I haven't used it in a while because, Zoom is actually a better option, but let's see if that one works. But anyway, it's one of those things, man, where their credit score makes a huge difference. Because just like any other creditor, y'all know I'm a real estate agent, I'm not going to take somebody out to show houses and they got a 400 credit score or a 500. There's work that needs to be done. So if you know that you're going to be involved with a person that has a 400 or 500 credit score, you know that there's work that needs to be done beyond just the, let's go out to dinner type situation. It's like, okay, you've mismanaged your money in the past, so what is the plan moving forward? And if there isn't a plan in place, then you know that, okay, we're on limited time. I know how to categorize you. I'm not going to try and build something with you, and we're going to have to build your credit up if you're even inclined to do so. And if you are an adult in your 30s with a poor credit score, those are going to lead to other questions. And once again, it all boils down to communication. So, y'all, I'm going to wrap this show up. Y'all, when I came on and I said that I missed y'all, let me say this. This show is therapy for me. To be able to come in and talk to y'all about the different topics and subjects that, usually come via conversations with other people. And it's like, hey, that's a good show topic. We're going to talk about that. It is therapy for me to be able to do this, to jump in, to come up with these conversations. I hate sometimes we do have technical difficulties. Shit happens. It is what it is. But this is my therapy. I love just talking to people. Like I said, communication is big to me. I love being able to come in, interact, talk, some of y'all give me some good feedback, different perspectives, different things that I would never have thought about, or a perspective that I just never would have looked at it from that way. So I'm going to get back into doing more of these shows. I'm also going to be working more on my social media as well, getting up the TikTok and a couple other ones because I love interacting with y'all. Yes, I'm an author. I love writing my books. In fact, I've been working on this third book, and I'm not sure when I'm going to be dropping it. But in the meantime, I definitely just love having these conversations about relationships, about love, about marriage, about divorce, all of these things. And everything that I do talk about are from personal experience or things that have affected me personally. The relationships that I've been in, the bad relationships that I have been through, the relationships that I'm currently in, and or relationship, I should say, and just whatever the future holds, all of those things. I love having these conversations. So just want to make sure that y'all know just how I love this. I love talking to y'all. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this one up. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm not sure what the next topic is. Actually, I do. We're gonna be talking about Bayfax, but y'all gonna see that coming soon. Anyway, once again, thank y'all for joining me. Y'all have a great day, and again, y'all stay determined.